I hope you have had a nice day today. How are you guys? So today we'll be doing some algebraic fractions because that's the topic that most people requested me. We'll do algebraic fractions first. Okay, then we'll go through other topics that you guys want me to do, okay? So are you guys ready? So we need to simplify fully x squared plus 5x over x squared plus 7x plus 10. So whenever we're dealing with algebraic fractions and we only have a fraction, there's no equal sign, I need to simplify it. The best method is to first factorize the numerator separately and factorize the denominator separately, and then you cancel out the ones that are the same, the brackets. So over here, the numerator is x squared plus 5x. So we're going to put x squared plus 5x right here. Now we're going to factorize it. So what would be, we're going to take x out as the common highest common factor. So what will be inside the brackets? So what we're going to do is that we're going to do x squared divided by x. We're going to get the remainder. It's going to be x, right? So x times x will be x squared. It's going to be plus 5. So this will be our factorized one, okay? Factorized. Now we're going to do the same with the denominator. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now as you can see, we know that it's going to be double brackets, as you can see, because I have a 7x over here and a 10. So can someone tell me what are two numbers that multiply to get 10 but add to get 7? What are the two numbers that multiply to get 10 and add to get 7? Yes, 2 and 5. So the missing numbers will be 2 and 5 like that. So this is going to be our factorized denominator. After you've all done factorizing, now what you're going to do is that we're just going to put this back into a fraction, divide it by x plus 2, then x plus 5. Now you'll notice that we have some common denominator, some common brackets. So x plus 5 and x plus 5, they are both common in this situation. So what we can do when we're dividing in algebra and you see something common, you can just cancel them out, okay? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cancel this out, so x plus 5 and x plus 5 are the same, so I'm going to cancel them out. And that is literally it. So then we're going to be left with x is over x plus 2. That'll be a final answer. Okay. So that would be your final answer. So that is going to be the same process that you're going to do for question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. Okay? Same process. We're going to factorize them. So I'm going to do question number 4. I'm going to do question number 4. So there's like this one is a bit different, as you see why. So we have x plus 4. We're going to factorize it. To factorize x plus 4. That's a rubbish color. Okay, x plus 4. Need to factorize x plus 4. How will we do that? Now you notice that there's no common factor. So how will we factorize this? How would you factorize this? X plus 4. What would be the factor, the highest common factor? And I'll give you a hint, is a trick question. It's going to be 1. 1 is going to be the highest common factor. So we're going to put a 1 out. Get a 1 out. And then it's going to be just x plus 4. When you are trying to simplify algebraic fractions and you cannot simplify, in this scenario, you cannot simplify. There's no common factor. You just factorize out to 1. That's the only choice you can do because you want it to have some brackets. We want this to be in brackets, okay? And then after you've done the numerator, you do the same to the denominator. I'm going to factorize that. Now, as you can see here, we have a difference of 2 squares. So you guys are probably know that x squared minus a number is equal to a minus b and then a plus b. Okay, you probably already know that. That is a rule you need to know. That's a rule you guys need to know. Okay. So now this is the same thing. So it's going to be 2 brackets. It's going to be x plus 4 and then x minus 4. And then you're going to put this back into the fraction. And then you will get 1 and then x plus 4 over x plus 4 and then x minus 4. And then you'll notice that we have 2 brackets which are common. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel them out. So we see we have x plus 4 and x plus 4 common. These 2 brackets are common. Cancel them out. And then we are going to just have the remaining as the fractions. So the final answer will be 1 over x minus 4. And that would be your final answer. Final answer. So do you guys understand? I'm going to do a quick poll. The happy face if you understand, the sad face if you don't, okay? All done. Lots of people understand. And by the way, today we're trying to reach 3,000 followers. 3,000 followers. So we need only 44 more followers. So please follow if you already haven't. So we're just gonna do a hard question on algebraic fractions because now you know the basics. Now you can do the hard questions. So let's say we have question number 9 here. We just solve this. We have to solve 8 over x plus 3 plus 3 over x plus 8 is equal to 1. Okay? We need to do this, okay? How will we do this? Now, first thing we do with algebra, when we're doing algebraic fractions, is the same process as when we're doing normal fractions. And when we're doing normal fractions, you have to find the common denominator, right? You have to find the common denominator. With fractions, you're doing the same. You're going to find the common denominator. But what we do is that we just cross multiply to get the common denominator and get the common numerators as well, okay? So, we have 8 and then x plus 3 plus 3 and then x plus 8. I just wrote it down so then you can clearly see it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. And then when we cross multiply, you can multiply these 2 as well. Now what we're going to do is, no, we're not going to actually multiply, we're going to put it as like brackets. Then we're going to expand it in the end, okay? We expand it in the end. So, the color. So, we're going to write it as 8 and then x plus 8. We're going to be multiplying 8 by x plus 8, which is over x plus 3 and then x plus 8 plus 3 and then x plus 3 as we are multiplying x plus 3 by 3 and over x plus 3 over x plus a. So what are these equations called? These are called algebraic fractions. Now, as you can see, we have achieved the common denominator we wanted. As you can see, both of them are the same. This is what we wanted. Then we can now simply do it. Okay. Now, once we've done that, what we can do is we're going to put this into one single fraction. Now, we're going to put this, I'm going to move it over here. We can put it as 8 and then x plus 8 plus 3 bracket x plus 3. We're going to put it together. Yes, make it into one fraction over x plus 3 and then x plus 8. You put it as one fraction, okay? And then now once you have done that, make sure it's equal to 1. Don't forget it's equal to 1. Now we want to get rid of this denominator we do not want. We need to get rid of this denominator. We're going to expand it out later. I'm going to quickly rub this out quickly because I need some space. So, first of all, we want to get rid of the denominator. We're going to multiply. So we're multiplying by x plus 3, x plus 8. We're going to multiply by this, okay? Multiplying by x plus 2. We're going to cancel our denominator, and we're going to do the same for both sides. So we're going to end up with 8x plus 8, then plus 3x plus 3. So this part, which is equal to x plus 3, x plus 8. Why did I not expand? Because if you would have expanded before, you would have still got the same answer. But I just did it because, like, I prefer to expand it last after I've gotten rid of the denominator. Because if you expanded it before, then it would be very hard for you to get rid of the denominator. Now we've gotten rid of the denominator and put it together as a full equation. Now we can expand it out. Okay, when expand it out, you get some long answer. So 8x plus 64 plus 3x plus 9 is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 24. I think all of you guys should know how to expand. Okay? Give a thumbs up if you know how to expand. How do you know? Can you give a thumbs up if you know how to expand in the chat? Why? Yes, well done. Why is it x squared? Because we do x times x when expanding brackets when we get x squared. So well done, everyone knows how to expand brackets. That's good. So when we've done this, we're going to simplify this, collect the like terms, and we're going to end up with 11x plus 73 is equal to x squared plus 11x plus 24. And then what we're going to do is that since we've got this, we know that we have to move this. We're going to subtract 11x and minus 7x. And then we're going to get 73 is equal to x squared plus 24x. Because we subtracted 11x from both sides, 11x and 11x, and we got rid of the 11x. And then we'll subtract 73. Then we get 0 is equal to x squared plus 24x minus 73. Okay, I created a mistake. It's not 24x. It's 24. And then when you do 24, minus 73, you will get minus 49, okay? Then end up with minus 49, okay? Now you end up with the quadratic. You're going to end up with this quadratic. So does everyone understand how I got to this point? Since it's an x squared, whenever there's an x squared, we know it's always a quadratic. Okay. So, this is not our final answer. This is not our final answer. Okay? Our final answer is going to be 2 values for x. Because whenever there's a quadratic, we always have 2 values for x. Or y. Or whatever letter. So what I'm going to do, yes, it's a difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to quickly rub this out. And rub this out. Yes, x is 7 and minus 7. You guys are ahead of me. That's quite. So once we've done that, we've got 0 is equal to x squared minus 49. We know this is the difference of 2 squares. We're going to get x plus 7 and x minus 7. So therefore, the 2 values of x is equal to 7 or minus 7. And that would be your 2 values of x. So that was a long question. It required you to first use your knowledge of fractions and denominators, find a common denominator, then your knowledge of algebra, and then at the end you always use a quadratic. Now I'm gonna tell you guys this, that whenever you get a question, there's a 70% chance whenever there's an algebraic fraction in a higher paper, it's gonna be a quadratic. It's always going to end up as a quadratic, and you're always going to get 2 values of x. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to do a poll so you guys can tell me. I'm going to start a poll so you guys can tell me if you understand, okay? And please don't forget to follow if you already haven't, okay? As I do live every single day. Sure, I'll do one more question. So we have to solve 8 is equal to solve 8 over 3x minus 2 plus 6 over x plus 1 is equal to 2. Okay. Now, first thing we have to do, you guys already know this as we did on this the previous question. We have to find the common denominator. We have to make the denominators common or the same. Now, how do we do this? We do cross multiplication, okay? We cross multiply. So we multiply this by that and this by this, and then we do multiply the denominators together. Okay? And then what you're going to do, you're going to end up with 8x plus 1. Remember, we're going to keep it as brackets. Then we're going to expand it later after we've gotten rid of the denominator. X plus 1 plus 6, 3x minus 2, then over 3x minus 2, then x plus 1. I'm running out of space. Okay. Remember, this is equal to 2. Okay, do not forget the fact that it's equal to 2. And now you guys will know that you have done the cross multiplication correct because you've got the common denominator you guys needed. Okay? You've got the common denominator you needed. So please always check you've gotten the common denominator. If you haven't gotten the common denominator, then you guys have done something wrong and then you have to go check back and do it again. Now after you've done that, we're going to make it into one fraction. So we can make it into one fraction. So we're going to have 8, then x plus 1, plus 6, 3x minus 2, over 3x minus 2, and then x plus 1. And make sure all of this is equal, not to 0, not to 0, is equal to 2. Okay? Now, guys, once you have done this, we have to get rid of the denominator. To get rid of the denominator, you multiply by the denominator. The denominator is 3x minus 2, x plus 1. So you multiply it, okay? So when you multiply it, it cancels out from this denominator and we add it to here. Now, once you do that, when you do that, you will get, so you will get 8x plus 1 plus 6, 3x minus 2 is equal to, don't forget about the 2. The 2 is there for a reason. 2 and then these two brackets. 3x minus 2, x plus 1. Okay, now this is our brackets. This is our equation with no denominator. Okay, we got rid of the denominator, and always, always, always don't forget about the number which is on the other side. For example, this 2, never forget about that, because if you forget about it, then you get a completely another answer. Okay, so give a thumbs up if you know, if you understand how I got to this step. Good. And if you don't understand, please tell me which one you do not understand. Okay, you guys get it. Well done. So you probably guys, most of you guys are confused how I got to this step. So we want to cancel out. We want to get rid of this denominator. The only way to get rid of this denominator is to times it by the original denominator. Now you guys probably are getting confused because the denominator is an algebra. But when we times it by the denominator, this is the denominator, you times it to the other side as well. So it cancels out from here, but then you multiply it there, okay? So if you want to get a copy of this paper, you can go to mathsgenius.com. It's a free website. And you can go to the revision section and you'll get algebraic fractions over there. And you can revise and answer it. Yeah, this always comes on the higher paper. This is grade 8, I believe. Grade 8 questions. So, I'm going to rub this out quickly. That's on the last part. I don't really have space anymore. I'm trying to get the 3,000 followers. Okay. Yes, now you expand. Now you need to expand this, okay? So when you expand this, you'll get 8x plus 8 plus 18x minus 12 is equal to 2. Then 3x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 2. Now you have noticed that we do not expand the you do not expand the 2 outside yet. We're gonna expand it later, okay? After we simplified all of it, okay? So he does expand the 2 double brackets and puts it into the brackets, okay? Don't just leave the 2 outside right now. Why is it 3x squared? It's because when we do 3x times by x, you will get 3x times by x, you will get 3x squared, okay? Okay? Now, once you've got this, now we're going to simplify it. Now you simplify it. Yes, you will multiply it by 2 after we've simplified, okay? This 2 over here, we're going to simplify it later. Okay. Now, once we've done that, we're going to simplify it as usual. And then you're going to end up with 26x minus 4. If we do 8 plus 18x, you'll get 26x. Then 8 minus 12 is going to be negative 4, which is equal to 2. Then 3x squared plus x minus 2. Now everything is simplified. Now we are going to expand in the 2. Okay, now it's going to be much easier. Because if we expanded in the 2 over here, then it would have been quite long. Because I have to do 2 times 3x squared, and 2 times 3x, and 2 times minus 2x, and 2 times negative 2. Over here we only have 3, okay? Now, we expand it out. And we're going to get 26x minus 4. This stays the same. And then you're going to have 6x squared plus 2x minus 4. Okay? Expand in the 2 to get rid of that 2. Okay. Now, once we have done that, since there is a x squared, you should know that it's going to be a quadratic. Now, quadratics are equal to 0. Quadratics are equal to 0. So what you do is that we're going to make it to 0. And to make it to 0, we have to do minus 26x and plus 4. So we're going to end up with 6x squared plus, 6x squared minus 24x. Because this minus 4 and minus 4 cancel out. These two cancel out. And then we subtract 26x. It's going to be minus 24x instead. Okay? So, now once you have done that, now if you want to solve quadratics has to equal 0. Normally when you have a question and on the normal of the higher paper, quadratics aren't equal to 0. You have to rearrange it so it can equal to 0 so you can solve it. Because if it isn't equal to 0, then you won't get 2 values for x. You can't get 2 values of x if the quadratic isn't equal to 0. Okay? So, now 0 is equal to 6x squared minus 24x. And then we will factorize it. We'll get 0 is equal to 6x, then x minus 4. And you'll notice that we need to factorize it as a single bracket, okay? Now, once you've done that, you will get your 2 values for x. Now, it will be a bit confusing because it's single brackets, and how do you find the 2 values of x? Now, when you have a single bracket, so we have 6x, and we have x minus 4. Either this equals to 0 or this equals to 0. And if these two needs to equal to 0, what is going to be the x? Yes, x will equal to 0 or 4. So 0 or 4 is the answer. So in the last bit, we factorized. So we factorized the 6x. And then, when we factorize it, then you'll get 2 values for x, which is going to be 0 and 4. Because to get 0, either this needs to be 0 or this needs to be 0, okay? That is pretty much it. So I'm going to do a quick poll so you guys can tell me if you guys understand, okay? Now, how did I get 0? I got 0 because I rearranged it. To get 0 so I can make it to 0. I did it on purpose to get to 0 because it's a quadratic. Yes, this is higher. So, what topic do you guys want me to do next? What topic do you guys want me to do next? I'll do only one more topic and then probably that is because we spent too much time doing algebraic fractions. For this question, this is basically the same as this. It's the same thing. As you can see, if you compare it, it's the same thing. It's just the same thing, okay? The division sign doesn't make a difference. You have to apply the division, okay? When you have the division sign, you use KCF, okay? KCF. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly do I'm gonna do a text poll so you guys can because so it can be more fair. Okay. So we got vectors, we got indices, and okay. So the poll is gonna start now. Everyone should vote. So then, let's see what we will do. So far, indices is winning. I can do community frequency, but I'll probably do it. It's because I only take the three topics that people say first. Okay. So we're gonna be doing indices. Let's get to it. So indices 1. So by the way, this is a free website you can use for revision. It's Math Genie. So I haven't checked the poll yet. Let's see. Yes, equal. It's equal. Someone vote. Okay, indices 1. Indices got 6 votes. Oh, then now it's equal again. So indices and sine and cosine rule tied up. So what we're going to do is that we are going to do indices first, and then we might do some bit of sine and cosine rule, okay? We'll do indices first, and then we do sine and cosine rules. So it's going to be fair to do both of them, okay? So, I don't think you guys can see that. Let me just check. Wait a minute. Let me quickly adjust. So you guys can see that. Can you see the indices clearly? Okay. So we have to simplify. You have to simplify x to the power of 8 and then times x to the power of 3. Now, how do we do this? That when we are multiplying powers, you have to add the powers when multiplying with the same base. When it has the same base, as you can see, it has the same base, which is x. You can add the powers, and then you will get x to the power of 11. So it's going to be x to the power of 11, okay? So now we need to simplify 5y and then 3. So, what do we do here? So, since technically we have an invisible one, there's an invisible one here. Now, when we have two powers together, we multiply them. So we're probably going to get 5y to the power of 3. But this is when some people go wrong. You do not do this. That is wrong. Now, when we have a power on the outside, people forget to cube the number as well. You cube the number as well. So you get 125y and then cubed. Okay? Now, what this 5y cubed essentially means, that's the final answer, 125y cubed. If you don't understand what this actually means, you can actually visualize this. So you guys probably know that 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, right? So it's the same with 5y cubed. It's going to be 5y times 5y times 5y. It's going to be equal to 5 times 5 times 5 is going to be 125. Then y times y times y is going to be y cubed. Okay? And that is, if you don't understand what it means in the bracket, I'm going to do it visually, set it out visually, and then you'll get your final answer there. Okay? Now, we need to simplify. WZ over W4. So W7 divided by W to the power of 4. Now, when we are dividing, I'm dividing with indices, with powers, and we have the same base, which is W in this case, we have the same base, then we subtract the powers. So we'll get W3. Okay? So, now it will keep on going on, you will have the easy questions. I want to move on to the hard questions. Let's go move down here. So we need to simplify 5c. I have to write this down because I think you can't see this. So if we have 5c squared, then d cubed. That's not good handwriting. Let me try that again. So 5c cubed, then c squared and d cubed times 2d. What will we get? the first thing we do is that we need to multiply the coefficients. We're going to get 10, then c squared. Let me just c squared because no c over here. And then d cubed times d to the power of 1 as an invisible power. So we add the powers. We know there's an invisible power here. So we did d to the power of 3, add the power of 1. We'll get d to the power of 4. We get 10c2 and d to the power of 4. So now when we do this, so I'm gonna quickly jump to this question. I'm curious if you guys know if you know this. So can someone tell me what the reciprocal of 1/3 is? I just want to test you guys. I just want to see if you guys know what reciprocal actually means. So what would be the reciprocal of 1/3? And please simplify the answer. Yeah, I'm getting lots of different answers. So the reciprocal just basically means when we have some fractions, when you have a fraction, you basically switch the numerator and denominator around. So the reciprocal is of 1/3. We're just gonna switch them around. So the denominator and numerator are gonna swap places. They're gonna swap places. It's gonna become 3/1. We're gonna swap them. And then we can do 3/1. Gonna be 3. Simplify it to 3. Okay? So I'll do this question. We need to write 64 times 4 to the power of 5 as a power of 4. So, what this essentially is telling us as a power of 4, we have to give our answer as 4 and then a power. You have to find out what this power is. Okay? What will be the power? So to work out, we already have times 4 to the power of 5. We already have this as a power. We have to make 64 as a power of 4, right? So how do we do this? So 4 times 4 is 16, right? And 16 times 4 is going to be 64. So we know that 4 cubed is equal to 64, right? 4 cubed is equal to 64. So if 4 cubed is equal to 64, we can rewrite this 64 as 4 cubed times by 4 fifths. 4 to the power of 5. And then when we have some powers, we multiply and they have the same base. As we can see, have the same base of 4. You add the powers, and then you get 4 to the power of 8. And that will be your final answer. 4 to the power of 8. Okay? And that's what it means, okay? That is what it means. So can you guys, you can't see that. Can you guys do this question over here? So what, this question simplify. Can you do this question? P3, I'm gonna write it a bit bigger. P5. Can you guys do this question? So 22C, can you do that? Yes. Well done. Let's give other people a chance to do it. 10 seconds left. 9, 8. So the way you would do it is, first of all, you would multiply them. So you'll get will be equal to P3 times P to the power of 10. Because when we have two indices together in outside of a bracket, we multiply them. So you get P3 P to the power of 3 times 10 P to the power of 10. And when we are multiplying powers and they have the same base, we add the powers. So our final answer is P to the power of 13. Yes, we add the powers when we multiplying them. But this is a different method. So when we have a power to a power, so we have two powers together, like outside of a bracket, we multiply them, okay? So when there's a power outside of a bracket and there's a power inside the bracket, they are together, we multiply them, okay? So, yes, you always multiply them when we have them together, but when we multiplying like this, we are adding them, but when we have this, so let's just say we ignore this. So you guys know the answer, okay? Let me quickly up. Let me give you an example, okay? So tell me what would be x and then 3 like that and then 5. What would be this then? X3 times 5. What would be this? I want you guys to know the difference between them. Yes, it's x to the power 15. This is because we are multiplying because they are in brackets, okay? Now, when we are multiplying without the brackets, so let's swap this out, and let's do x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 10. So what would be the answer then? What would be the answer? Yeah, it's going to be x to the power of 15. Yes. X to the power of 15. So that is the difference, okay? Yes, I reached 3,000 followers. Thank you so much for following, guys. And I really appreciate it, as I do love every single day. Okay. Now the actual answer for the question. Now this is just an examples, okay? This is just examples. I was helping, okay? These are just examples, okay? The actual answer is P13, okay? The actual answer is P13. Okay? So I'm gonna do a quick poll so you guys can tell me if you understand or not, okay? You guys probably should understand. I should see lots of happy faces. So yes, 10 happy faces. Well done. So this will be the last topic for our live. So that is going to be it for today's live, guys. I'll do sine and cosine rules tomorrow. I'll do sine and cosine rules tomorrow, and I do I was about to say that I do live every single day on every single day at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow I won't be doing my live. Tomorrow there won't be any live. Tomorrow's my day off. Okay, and I'll do live on Friday and any other day. Okay. So the last question. So the last question. Okay, the last one. Okay. So let's quickly do that. So we need to simplify 10p3q5. Okay, it's gonna be very long to say. I'm not gonna say the whole thing. 10 to the then p3 then q. You what this means, and then 4p3q6. Now, as you can see, first of all, we're going to do is that we're gonna divide the coefficients. So we 10 divided by 4. 10 divided by 4 will be 2.5. Okay, that's going to be our first part of our answer. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to do p to the power of 3 divided by p to the power of 3. So what would be the answer then? So p to the power of 3, p to the power of 3, they're going to cancel each other out, okay? It's going to equal to 0. So they're going to get cancelled out. Cancelled out. So there's going to be nothing there left. And then what we're going to do is that we are going to do q to the power of 5 divided by q to the power of 6. And this is when it gets a bit tricky. Now, since we know that, we do 5 minus 6. Now, 5 minus 6 is going to be q to the power of -1. And then this r is going to stay like that because we know r dividing each other, okay? Yes, in this case, you do take away them. You do subtract the powers. But the powers are the same. So when the powers are the same, the answer is going to be 0. Okay? Nothing going to be there. Okay? So basically, let's imagine p to the power of 3 divided by p to the power of 3 was 2 to the power 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, right? And when we put a 1 over here, we don't actually put a 1 because 1 is invisible, right? Don't put a 1. Okay? So that will be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the live and learned something useful. We did algebraic fractions and indices rules. I hope you understood. Don't forget to join my Discord. Watch if you came on if you came late. This will be on my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in my next live.